Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Ask Me Anything with Uniform Recruitment, the OPP. I am Staff Sergeant Mary Lou Schwint. I am so privileged to be here today with you. I was trying to think of the last time I did an AMA, and I think it's been about a year or so. So I'm so glad they'd have me back. I love AMAs. I love interacting with the audience, answering your questions, and I am super happy to have a guest with me today. So this week, we are actually celebrating International Women's Day. And with respect to that, we wanted to speak with other women in the organization about the OPP, the careers, the opportunities with us. And so Staff Sergeant Shanna Wickware is here today to join us and to do that. Before we get to that, though, I do want to highlight in the background, we've been working on a lot of events for this week to honor women and to recognize women. So across the regions, we have so many fantastic opportunities this weekend for people interested or women interested in the career of policing to meet our recruiters and coming out to our live events, our shuttle runs. Some information sessions are happening. Tonight, actually, the PWHL has a game going on in Ottawa. And so OPP will be on site at the Arena Center at TD Place in Ottawa. The Chargers Ottawa Charge are taking on Seattle Torrent. And this game actually honors an Indigenous female hockey player, Ellie Panas, and she's being honored tonight for her contributions to hockey. So we are so honored. Uniform Recruitment will be there. We'll have a booth set up outside of TD Arena, and we'll have recruiters on site. And I think some of the recruiters are actually even get to watch the game as well. So if you get a chance, head out to Ottawa, get some tickets, go see that event, or even just come outside the stadium where we will be set up with our booth as well. So if I haven't met with you before in person or at one of these AMAs, Staff Sergeant Mary Lou Schwint, I've been in uniform recruitment for a few years now. Absolutely love my job. I have such a privilege of meeting so many potential candidates and recruits as they go through the process. We do the hiring for constables, for auxiliary officers, and we also do experienced officers as well. So it's an incredible job. It's quite an honor to look at this next generation coming into our organization and being part of that. But today, like I said, I wanted to introduce all of you to Staff Sergeant Shanna Wickware. Shanna, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'd like to start, just give me a little bit of an introduction about yourself, your background, and where you are today with your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. I really am honored to be here and that I was asked to be here for this special episode. And thank you, Mary Lou, for having me. So my name is Shanna Wickware. I am a Staff Sergeant with the Ontario Provincial Police. Again, I'm really excited to be here and spend some time with you today talking about women in policing and what a career in the OPP might look like. Every career is going to look very differently. I'm going to walk you through what mine has looked like so far. And I'm here today because I believe deeply in this profession and in the value that women bring to policing. I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences with you, answering any questions you have. I'll be as open as possible and hopefully helping you see what's possible for yourself in a career with policing and hopefully with the Ontario Provincial Police. So I personally knew early on that I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. So even in high school, I was drawn to policing. Combined problem solving, teamwork, leadership, all things that I was really drawn to. And the chance to help people on their hardest days, but also on some of their happiest days. So my parents actually have a little drawing that I made in kindergarten, and it was the token, what do I want to be when I grow up? And I drew a picture of a policewoman. I don't know where that idea came from. I don't know if there was some kind of job fair at that time, but I still have that and it stuck with me. So as I grew up, definitely there was some ebbs and flows of if I wanted to continue with policing, but I clearly I came back to policing. Um, my journey, um, yeah, my journey with the organization started very young. I'm from a small town, Huntsville, Ontario. So the only policing that I ever knew was Ontario Provincial Police. That's the only organization I ever knew and I ever thought about. So actually, in high school, I was a co-op student. So I had the opportunity to work out of Huntsville OPP detachment as a co-op student, and that's sort of where I started. From there, I continued on. I was a Marine student in Bracebridge Detachment. I also served as an auxiliary in Muskoka. And then I was also a cell guard in Bracebridge OPP Detachment before I was hired. So I have a lot of different experiences, including the volunteer aspect of policing as an auxiliary, which was an extremely rewarding experience, um, especially for someone who is looking to get into policing. It just those early experiences, they really showed me the impact of policing, what it can have on people and communities, and definitely solidified my passion and my drive to become a police woman. Like
I
really
I love this. I
yeah.
for those of you watching, I actually just have met Shannon the last year, kind of at events or different things. So it's for me to sit here and listen to your career and your background. I had no idea about any of this. I knew about the more recent stuff, but
Yeah.
those steps that you took to get into this career are incredible. And a lot of people don't know those avenues are available. Like there is a student employment program. There are auxiliary opportunities like you're talking about, getting involved, volunteering, which is a big part of our process as well. And being an auxiliary officer with the OPP, you get the opportunity to, be around the policing environment and do ride-alongs and do community service, right? So,
Yeah.
like you said, really solidifying why you want this career and if it is the right career for you. So,
Mhm.
this is fantastic. Sorry, I interrupted. Go on.
Oh, no problem. It's I when I sit back and I actually, before doing this, I sat back and I thought about the things that I have done to get to where I am today. And the list grew even before I was hired. So there are definitely so many opportunities out there to really make sure that you're going the direction that you want to go. And I can't say enough amazing things about auxiliary. It was just a really great experience, and it inserts you into the community in ways that you may not have in other opportunities. So yeah, it was really great. So from high school, I went into police foundations. I did 2 years in police foundations at Fanshawe College in London, and then I was still pretty young and decided I could probably do a little bit more schooling. So I completed an additional 2 years. It was an applied degree program called Police Studies, and that was run through Georgian College. When Georgian was in Aurelia, I believe the program is now run out of Barrie. It was another great program, and through that Police Studies program is actually when I became an auxiliary. So that was sort of my bridge to becoming an auxiliary.
And you mentioned Police Foundation. So we get a lot of questions about the education requirement for our application process and for becoming a constable. Police Foundations absolutely is a fantastic program to take if you're interested in policing. A lot of them are the 2-year programs, and we do hire a lot of students that have gone through that. Um, People, I think there's a misconception though that you have to take the police foundations.
Mhm.
That is not a requirement. Like I said, it is a fantastic option, and we do hire a lot of people from it. But generally, with our education as well, we're looking at our candidates' ability to learn. So don't be discouraged if police foundations isn't in your history, that you haven't done that or something. we are looking throughout your application process when you apply to us is what is your ability to learn? Because we are going to send you to the Ontario Police College, where you are required to pass with a 75% in each subject or higher. And so we need to know that going into that you do have that ability to learn. So that can be done through other programs as well, through university, college, trades. Some military is another good avenue as well. All of that is in the background stage, what we will be looking at to see how you learn and if you are going to be successful at the Ontario Police College. And then, yes, actually, I just screened a application today of a Police Foundation student applying for the auxiliary program to complete while they're in school for Police Foundation. So fantastic opportunity for them to do that as well during that time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you'd done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. So I was in the program all through college and just outside of college until I was hired, actually. Yeah.
And volunteering is a big part of it. There is a question, I think, in the chat there about volunteering, about how important it is. I think when you think about your whys, why you became a police officer, or why you want to become a police officer, the majority of us are going to say is because we truly care about our communities. We want to give back to our communities, right? We want to be involved in our communities and do good things. And being a police officer, we get those opportunities. So I know for us in recruitment, if I'm looking at your application and how competitive you are, and you're telling me that, this is because I care about my community, this is why I want to be a police officer, but I see no community service in your past, I kind of wonder, what's going on here. Like, I would think I would see a little bit of giving back to your community. So to answer the question, community service is important. We do look at it through the process. It is one of the areas of assessment. But I also understand that at different stages of your life, you have that ability to give a little bit more, a little bit less. When you're in school full time and you're working to put yourself through school, there are times that you just don't have extra hours in the day or the week to give back. But then there's other times I know where, your load's a little bit lighter. That's the times that we look at, okay, so what are you doing with your spare time then? How are you preparing to enter this policing world? So I love that you did the auxiliary. I'm sure that was quite the course load you were doing then, plus auxiliary. And I don't know if you were working at the same time, but that is a lot.
Yeah, I was serving as a bartender at the time. I was doing auxiliary, and I was going through college. So I was able to juggle that. I was extremely focused and driven at that time. I also didn't have a family at that time, so I was by myself, and I had the time and ability to do it.
And just mentioned not having a family at the time. There is a question too in the chat about someone's a mother interested in placing, but has concerns about how much time they may be required to be away from their child. So let's touch on that. So there's a couple things to this. The training, that is one component of it. When you get hired by the OPP, you spend changing about 3 weeks, say, at the Provincial Police Academy, where we get you your kit, you meet your fellow recruits, you do some initial training, some onboarding with us. Then you do about 3 weeks of online learning, and then you go down to Ontario Police College. So in total with the training, initially you're away for about 4 months there, and then you're back. You're home weekends, though. It is just Monday to Friday. You are home weekends. But then when you're back and you're at your detachment as a recruit, let's talk about the shift schedule and how you balance that, Shanna. I know like most detachments do the 12 hours shifts, 5 on, the 5-4 schedule. Tell me about how you balance that as a mother and as a police officer.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'll back up, and I'll go back, and I'll take you through the rest of my career. So I was hired in 2010, and I was posted back to my hometown in Huntsville, Ontario. So that's where I started my career, and I started. I was very operational for the first about half of my career. At that time, I didn't have children yet. I did have a spouse who is also a member of the Ontario Provincial Police. So he's a police officer as well. And we sort of worked our way through different positions. I had the privilege of working as I was a detective in the community street crime unit. One of the more rewarding spots that I've been in, and like have a very fond spot for. I really loved it there. And I then had the opportunity to do some acting time. And at that point in my career, that's when I had started having children. So I currently have two boys, 9 and 11. So my husband and I are very, very busy with that juggle. Um, and it was difficult, but also manageable. So I also have family that was close, that was able to help. So when I was in, for instance, when I was in street crime, my husband, he's on the tactical rescue unit. So he, we would sometimes both get called out at the same time. So it'd be like the middle of the night, and both of us would have to go, and I would have family come in. So I would say leaning on family is a way that we managed, the two of us. But yeah, it's definitely managing your time.
And it's
Yeah.
Yeah, similar to you, when I came on, I didn't have a family. This is a second career for me, so I started a little bit later. And then I had my daughter, and I actually had my daughter on my own. So I've been a single parent in policing. And when you talk about getting calls in the middle of the night, I understand that. Like, I remember dropping off my 2-year-old many times at my parents', midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, because I was called out for a call.
Mhm.
And that it is, like, you need your community, you need your support system, and that's what it is. It is absolutely manageable. Are there tough times with it? Absolutely. Any career, any job you do, I think there's gonna be challenges to it for sure, but absolutely rewarding. And my daughter is 16 now, so of course she doesn't need me anymore. As we know, 16-year-olds don't need but we have an incredible relationship. And one of the things I absolutely treasure so much is her relationship with my parents, because they were played such a big role, and same with my brothers, extended family, and even some friends. She's got like second moms, she calls them. And because I've relied on them through my career to kind of be there when I couldn't be. But my daughter also understands, when I can't be there, why I can't be there. So I think having those supports in place and having people that really believe in you and are there to support you it's definitely manageable then, for sure, and so rewarding.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So
Uh,
currently, right now, I'm in a executive officer position. So right now, I'm a staff sergeant. So from acting in Huntsville Detachment as a sergeant, I then went to Halliburton Detachment. So a small little place in the middle of the woods. I was a staff sergeant there, where I was the only female sergeant, and that was another rewarding experience that I really, really enjoyed. From there, I ended up in general headquarters in Aurelia. So currently, I'm an executive officer. I'm a staff sergeant who works directly for Deputy Commissioner Carrie Dart. So it is a role unlike any other in the OPP. Very hard to describe. It is high level, it's fast paced, requires strong political acuity, that's for sure. And it is an opportunity that actually grew out of professional relationships built through an opportunity I got to attend the International Association of Women in Policing. So I really wanted to mention this because I've had these steps in my career, and I look back and you think, who has helped you get to where you are today? And this opportunity to go and be surrounded by a group of women police officers, super strong group of women, has lended me the opportunity to be where I am right now, and currently being mentored by the highest ranking, one of the two highest ranking women in the Ontario Provincial Police. So again, it goes back to, connections and support, like you mentioned, your support network built with surrounding myself with super powerful women. Yeah.
And I love that you said that, because I actually went to one of those IAWP conferences about a year and a half ago too, and I came away with that same takeaway almost, is like, as women in this career, it's so important that we build each other up and that we're allies for each other. And I think that, and I see this in the application process or all the time with female candidates, is we like to apply, or we like to put ourselves out there when we feel like we're 120% ready. Like we cover all the bases, where often our male counterparts, they're 70%, they're like, yeah, I'm good to go. They have that confidence, or like, I can do this. For whatever reason, women, we tend to want to be that 120%. And so it's reminding us and reminding our colleagues sometimes, is that you're doing a fantastic job. And that position over there, you would be fantastic for. You think you don't have it all yet, but you actually do. Like, look around, and building each other up. I had this conversation actually with a coach at my gym the other night. We both coach, and we were both in there about 8:30 at night to get our workouts in. And after we worked through together, it just happened we were both there, so we did the same workout. And after, she kind of said to me, I'm just disappointed. Like, I wish I'd gone heavier on the weights. And I kind of started like, I said, are you kidding me? I said, right now, look what we're doing. It's now 9 o'clock at night. We just did a workout. I know I wanted to rather be on my couch or, laying in front of the TV. I said, but it just struck me as like, here's a woman I just think so highly of, and she's so incredibly in shape. She works full time, has 2 daughters, and she's in the gym late at night working out, and she's still questioning that it wasn't good enough, right? So building each other up in this career, and I think that message and that feeling is getting stronger and stronger through our organization, which is amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mary Lou. When I think back to when I first got on, and there weren't many women officers in my detachment, and I created a few a few tight relationships back then, but majority of them were with men. And you know, I'm going to be honest, when there aren't a lot of women around, it's almost like we compete. We seem to compete against each other. And just through my own growth, you know, in my career, but I just also as a person, and IWP was definitely a big motivator in that. I'm telling you, like, to have that group of women around you and working together, it just works so much better. We're not competing against each other. There's so many positions in our organization and everywhere else for that matter that yeah, we're all just doing our own thing. Let's help each other out and get to where we're going.
And I think that's a really pivotal moment. It was for me, I know, it's like you start to realize that they're your allies, they're not your competition. Our organization is huge. We've both, like you've talked about, the opportunities you've had, and you're only partway through your career. Like there's more to come. There's so much out there for women. If you are looking at policing as a career, there's so many opportunities and so many avenues to go down that you don't even know about. And actually, one of my previous superintendents said to me at one point, when I was looking at going into a promotional process or not, I said, well, I'm pretty happy with my position right now. I don't, there's nothing there that I don't know if I need this. She's like, but you don't even know what jobs don't exist yet, like that are coming up. And that kind of struck me too, is like, we don't even know what's coming down the pipeline yet, like what we could be doing before the end of our careers, and the people that we're hiring now, what opportunities they're going to have. There's stuff there that we don't even know, and it's so exciting to be part of that. We do have a question in the chat. Do mentorships and leadership opportunities differ for women? What do you think of that, Shanna?
Oh gosh, I've just had so many opportunities, and they did start through IWP. So when I went on this conference, this group of women came back, and I was kind of part of that first little group who started what we call a MSN. It's a member support network, and it's called WIC, Women Igniting Change. How cool is that? And this is a network specifically for women and men as well, allies who want to be a part of it. And you can directly find a mentor right off there. There's also different programs. We call it DCCP. Mary Lou, I'm not sure if you know the acronym for that, but it's another program that is run with the OPP, and you are directly matched with a mentor. It's the opportunities to be mentored are, in my opinion and what I have seen, endless. Yeah.
If you're open to it and you put yourself out there, absolutely. And that's something else that I learned early on in the career. And I always tell the recruits coming on, or I'm talking to potential candidates, never say no to a course, and
Yes.
never say no to trying something new in the job.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people come into the job, and when we're interviewing them, we often hear, well, I want to be a canine officer, or I want to be on TRU, which is fantastic, all those great positions that are highlighted. But don't pigeonhole yourself, because 30 years career, there's a lot you can do in it. And like I said, there's opportunities that you don't even know are going to come your way. Don't say no to them, because you never know. You're going to try something and all of a sudden that's sticking with you. Or maybe you do it for a few years and then there's something else you want to explore with the OPP. You can do that. So, and I think if you're open to that and you're a good worker and a hard worker, that those mentorship and leadership opportunities are going to be coming at you. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, women, I find, sometimes assume that we need to fit into a mold, but in this profession, it just, we need diverse perspectives in every single area within policing. And I can only think of one unit within the OPP that there has never been a woman, but I feel like one day.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, every corner of this organization you look, there are super cool women doing lots of really cool work.
I had the privilege of working with one of the first canine female officers. And not only is she a fantastic canine officer, she bakes incredible cookies on her off days and brings them to detachment. So it's amazing. And again, the stories that, like her backstory and her history, fascinating. So taking the time to get to know your colleagues as well. And you mentioned even at detachment, like there's only maybe a few women initially when you started or something, but getting to know the people that you're working with, the other women that you're working with, and creating that network. But also, you also mentioned the men who are allies for us. There's so many fantastic male leaders in this organization that I know I look up to and that I go to for advice and mentorship. And they are ready, willing, and able to assist at any point. So I think that's important to mention as well.
Yeah, my
Next.
my first couple mentors were men, and again, I'm likely where I am today because of that mentorship. And I'm privileged now to have women to look up to, but back in the day, I didn't necessarily have a lot of women surrounding me, and it was men who were lifting me and pushing me forward. So
One of the questions here, what parts of yourself do you feel most seen for as a woman in policing, and what caused you to pursue a career as a police officer as a woman? So I guess, yeah, what parts of yourself do you feel most seen for as a woman in policing?
So that's going to be obviously a personal question for every or answer for every single person. I For those who know me, I'm pretty decisive. I've got a strong personality with an opinion to follow, and that's probably what people would say about me. I enjoy being in a leadership position. I definitely thrive in it, and that's probably what people would say about me. Yeah.
And the second of that, what caused you to pursue a career as a police officer as a woman? I know for me, I wanted to work with victims of crime. I wanted to help them through, like literally, I know it's cheesy to say, but help them through their worst day.
Mm.
And whether it be victims of intimate partner violence or children who've been, abused in some way, that was what motivated me. And I was able to do that for several years as a detective constable. Um, and really not an easy job by any means, but
Oh,
when you can be there, when you can help somebody through it and kind of show them the pathway through and show them that there's somebody there that's on their side and advocating for them, it is incredibly rewarding. So I know for myself, that's kind of, like I said, second career. I did about 10 years in the automotive business and then started policing when I was 30, and that was kind of what was prompting me to come over to the policing area.
yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, there's definitely spots where I find women do excel in. Not necessarily speaking about myself, but I've looked up to a lot of women who have excelled in certain positions, specifically what you're talking about, in positions where they can directly connect um, with the community, with, for instance, women in crisis, and really make a huge difference in people's lives. Yeah.
So we've got some recruitment questions here I'm going to grab. Talking about posting selections and where you get posted. This is a common concern and a common question we get throughout the process. So the way it works with the OPP, obviously we're a provincial organization and we have operational demands across the province. But during your application process with us, we have you list your top 6 posting locations that you would want to go to. And when you do that, we expect that you put in some research to it, choosing them based on, whatever is important to you and the decision makers in your family. I know a lot of people probably put a point on the map where they live and draw a radius around it and they choose their 6 according to that. And I understand there are some situations where you can't move. Like, we know there's a lot of dual income houses now. So your partner is working or your kids are in school or your family support is there, whatever it might be. But that is why we ask you to put that research into your detachment postings, know why you're choosing them. And then during the process, the recruiter is going to be talking to you about those top 6 postings, understanding what your reasons are for that. If you move to the background phase, you're going to go through that again with your background investigator, who again will revisit those posting selections with you to see, why you're choosing them. And often we can give you some other insight into, once we understand your reasonings, we can actually help guide as well a little bit. So if there's other opportunities that we see for you that might fit your criteria, we can present those to you as well. But then ultimately what happens is we do our best to place people where they want to be. Keeping in mind, of course, that operationally we do have demands across the organization. So there are sessions that we put on focusing on Northwest and Northeast postings, and the benefits of going up north, training opportunities. The list is endless. If you're in the process, you really should attend one of those sessions. But then ultimately, we'll try to place you where you're going to be successful. So I can't guarantee you that, yes, you're going to get one of your top 1, 2, or 3, that there's no guarantees as you go through the process, but we definitely do a very good job of posting people where they're going to be successful and where will meet their family and their personal needs. Another question, what misconceptions about women in policing would you like to debunk?
Hmm.
That's a good one.
Is a good one.
You know what I get actually off duty all the time is, you don't look like a police officer.
Oh, definitely. I've got long hair right down to the back of me, and when I am off duty, I don't look like a police officer either. So
No, and they say you're too nice to be a police officer. And
I
I'm like,
get the
well,
question. Well, good for you, Maru.
I don't think we're not mean people. Police officers aren't mean people. We have to sometimes, bring people back into line when they've stepped out of line, but I don't think that's being mean. And I guess generally in my personal life, I will do the same thing. But yeah, I think I'm generally a positive person, I think, overall. So Yeah, I find that funny that when people say like you're too nice to be a police officer or you don't look like a police officer, um, they need to come to our grads and come out, to us and see us operationally. We all look different. Like,
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be lots of misconceptions about women in policing. Not all of us are lovey-dovey and belong in positions where we're directly, say, dealing with children or the elderly. Some of us thrive better in other areas where we're canine and we're chasing a dog through a bush, right? So,
right. And
um,
we need all those differences. We need those different skills and personality traits.
yeah, women are just as physically capable as men in this career, and that shows with the positions that we have filled in the OPP. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not women are not just taking up roles of soft skills. We're detectives, we're canine, we're ERT. We're in every corner of this organization. Yeah.
I completely agree.
Mhm.
Um, Someone asked in here, how long is the recruitment process? So it varies. A lot of it can vary on when you submit your application. Is it a complete application that we can, immediately start processing it, or are there missing documentation to it? Are there forms that weren't signed? That type of thing. But I would say on average, we're about 3 to 4 months. Probably about 4 months, people can get through the process start to finish. So we are continuously accepting applications. We're continuously processing them. We have 4 classes a year. So literally every 3 months, we're filling another class. Our recruit classes are large. We're averaging about 115 recruits each class right now. So we are a very busy unit in uniform recruitment. My recruiters do fantastic work. The entire team does amazing work.
Mhm.
But you can make our jobs easier and your process easier if when you apply, you ensure your application is complete and that you have all those required documents. We provide all kinds of information online. There's Reach videos you can watch that give you a lot of tips as to the application process and the hiring process. And there's frequently asked question pages. There's information on our portal out there. So make sure you're reading everything, because the more complete your application is, the smoother that journey will be for you, for sure. Here's a good question. What keeps you motivated on difficult days?
That's gonna be my family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always, always, and forever is gonna be my family. My two little boys at home, when I've come through the door after a difficult day at work, they look at me like I'm a rock star, and it is rewarding to be able to stand there beside my husband too and be like, yeah, mom's a police officer too. Like your mom's pretty cool, okay?
Yeah,
And that really does motivate me. My children, my husband, my family, um, and this organization means a lot to me and has done a lot for me. And we are here for our communities, right? And that motivates me to keep going when you're having a rough day. Is there are people out there who need us, and that's why we're doing this job.
that's fantastic. I couldn't say it any better. Yeah, it's remembering your why on those
Mhm.
difficult days, right? But then also when you've got those two little boys for you to go home to at night and get those hugs from, like, yeah, that's what keeps you going for sure.
Yeah.
Another question here, kind of linking into this, is how do you manage your stress and the work related stress and balance that with personal well-being? So what do you do for that?
Yeah, that this is a good one, and it is very important, and it's something that you should probably start thinking about even before you get into policing, and that's going to be like taking care of yourself, taking care of you, physically, um, and emotionally. I think that's a big deal. For me, I learned a little bit later on into my career, once I had a family, is boundaries. Um, Boundaries are super important, and they help keep us healthy mentally, right? Um, Knowing when to unplug, that's a big one.
It's a huge
And
one.
sort of disconnect from work, and that goes along with your boundaries too, right? Um, and then for me, it's knowing your priorities. So my family comes first, always and forever. And then I'm an extremely dedicated person to work, but I need to always keep my priorities in line. It's important.
Every time I get asked that question, I think back to Oprah. And now I feel like I'm dating myself to this generation because they may not know Oprah. But she always said, you got to look after yourself first, because if you don't look after yourself, how are you ever going to look after everybody else? Right. So I will literally remind myself of that some days where I know I'm really pushing the limits on, what I'm doing and my schedule and everything, to step back and say, okay, so I prioritize my fitness. That's how I do it daily, is that workout has to get in, whether it's 6 in the morning or if it's 9 o'clock at night, whenever that may be. And then, but in saying that, giving myself forgiveness if I'm going to miss a workout, that's okay too. Sometimes you need to prioritize that rest, or maybe that walk outside with the dog is going to do more for me than that gym visit, right? So it's also giving yourself that permission and that forgiveness that you don't have to be everything 24/7, that we need downtime too,
Yeah,
and that disconnecting and unplugging, is so important for sure, and setting those boundaries. So thank you for that.
no problem. Nutrition, huge. Gotta drink your water, ladies. Very
Yes.
important. We have
Well,
to
I'm
drink.
protein. I'm a big protein advocate, so
Uh,
more protein.
Another, like, keep your hobbies and your enjoyments outside of policing, right? You got to keep friends that aren't all in policing, um, and that's what helps keep us grounded, right? Our family, our friends, our hobbies, exercise, nutrition. Yeah.
And that's actually, here's the next question. If you could go back in time, what is one thing you would tell yourself when you were a new recruit?
Oh gosh, I don't know why that just like immediately got me emotional. Uh,
It's hard to believe how, like, it feels like yesterday, eh? But
yeah.
we hear that when we first come on the job, that the time flies. It really does. Like,
Mhm.
I look back, I think I was so excited, and but I feel like just slow down and take it all in. Like,
Yeah.
enjoy the moment. Don't be so worried about, tomorrow. Enjoy today. Enjoy what you're learning now.
Yeah.
Because if you work hard, um, and you're dedicated, all these good things are going to come to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was young, right? So I had life by the horns, and um, was super excited, super dedicated, and I wanted to do it all. And I would
Yes.
just tell her, like, you're absolutely going to get there. There are going to be some super amazing days that you'll never want to forget, and there will be some tough days. And um, that's something you got to remember. Like, there's going to be tough days, but you're going to work through it. And the reward on the other end is just makes everything worth it. Yeah.
One of the things, I don't do the interviews anymore of potential candidates coming in or the experienced officers, but when I did, one of the things I started hearing, and I just love hearing it, is that more and more people have some sort of therapist or counselor set up, for themselves already when they come into this profession.
Okay.
So I think that awareness, I don't think was there when I came on. Um, and we have a healthy workplace team with this organization.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of supports when it comes to mental health. And, even family supports, all kinds of supports there,
Yeah.
and knowing what those supports are. But the thing is, it's having those in place before you realize you need them, I think. And now that when I talk to recruits, I always try to emphasize that is, you're coming in and everything's fresh and new and everything feels good, but you're going to have those tough days, and there might be a time where you're struggling, and then all of a sudden you're trying to reach out and find a counselor, find a therapist that you connect with. Do the work ahead of time. So get that relationship built ahead of time, and do those check-ins, because then if something comes up and you're like, you really are struggling and you need someone, you've already got that relationship there, and there's the supports are there with this organization. You can make those connections. Do that early on, do at the beginning of your career, and that's I think the best thing you can do for yourself as you come into this profession.
That is such great advice, Mary Lou. That's wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're gonna. Oh my gosh, time flies. Um, I'm going to, I think, wrap this up with a couple of things here. I do want to give an awareness piece out. There is an event happening up in Sault Ste. Marie this weekend on Saturday. It is called Inspire Women in Emergency Services, and OPP Uniform Recruitment will be there on site. This event is running at the Machine Shop in Sault Ste. Marie. And there are going to be so many organizations represented. I've actually got a page of them here because there's no way I was going to remember them all. But Bruce Mines Fire Department, Canada Border Services Agency, Paramedic Services, MNR, Solicitor General, North Shore Health Network, Sioux Area Hospital, Fire Services, Sault Ste. Marie Police Services. The list goes on. This is a drop-in event open to the public. We actually argued in our unit about who was going to go up to support the recruiters in the region for this event, because it just looks like so much fun. So if you are in the area this weekend, make sure you stop by. That is Saturday, and it is running from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. Again, we are out at out in Ottawa today for the oh my goodness, PW. This is where my brain, too much talking for me. Ottawa Charge taking on the Seattle Tour and the PWHL game tonight. So make sure you stop by, see our recruiters at that event. They'd love to talk to you, love to visit with you. There is a final question here. So I'm going to throw this at you, Shanna. What kind of impact do you hope your work has on other women?
Oh, okay. I hope that things I have done and perhaps struggles that I have had make the path just a little bit more worn down and easier to travel. It is important that women have a seat at the table, and we are there, right? So I hope things that I have done have made life just a little bit easier. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. I know that this was not on your bingo card to be participating in this AMA today, but I absolutely love and appreciate that you did. I learned more about you, and I respect so much the work you do and the success you're having. It was lovely to get to know you. For those of you that joined us on Facebook or Instagram today, thank you. If you have any questions at all about the OPP uniform recruitment process, visit us at OPP Careers online. There's tons of information there. There's links there, and you should be able to find what you need. Other than that, join us for our next AMA, and we will be happy to meet with you and speak with you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.